Dear soul, this is not an ordinary message. And it's certainly not meant for everyone. The angels have asked me to start by telling you this. If your heart stirred just by reading the title, if something inside of you whispered, "This is for me," then you must know, you are exactly where you are meant to be. Not every woman will recognize this kind of connection. Not every woman will feel this kind of soul-deep love. But you are different. You have loved from a place so pure, so beyond this world, that even heaven paused to witness. And now, the angels are whispering something back to you. He's finally listening. He may not say it yet. He may not even fully understand it. But he knows. He knows you weren't just a passing moment. He knows your presence wasn't a coincidence. And no matter how hard he tried to brush it off, to silence that inner voice, something in him is changing. You see, there's a moment in every soul's journey when the mind can no longer ignore what the heart has always known. Lately, he's been seeing you, in dreams he doesn't understand, in songs that echo like memories, in quiet thoughts that arrive uninvited. You appear in the stillness, in the spaces between his distractions. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. But it's undeniable. The connection he once dismissed as just chemistry is now unraveling into something deeper. Something sacred. He feels a pull that makes no sense. But somehow, it makes perfect sense. There's a softness in your energy that keeps returning to him. And in his quietest moments, he hears the whisper, "She was sent." Because yes, you were sent. You weren't placed in his life by accident. No, dear soul, the divine chose you. This was not just a matter of timing. This was a matter of destiny. From the very first moment your souls recognized each other, the angels began to stir. This isn't the kind of love you find on the surface. This is the kind that's buried deep beneath layers of logic and past heartbreak. And when two souls like yours and his are meant to meet, it doesn't matter how far you drift, or how long you wait, the current will always bring you back. Your connection isn't just emotional. It carries a mission. It carries healing. It carries divine timing. But oh, how he resisted. At first, he tried to explain it away. Maybe it was infatuation. Maybe it was timing. Maybe it was just a trick of the heart. He told himself all kinds of stories to keep from feeling what he felt. He filled his days with noise, with people, with plans. He may have even tried to convince himself that someone else would be easier, safer. But your energy kept returning. It didn't matter how far he ran, your presence lingered like a song he couldn't get out of his head. Because love like this doesn't vanish. And the whispers of the angels, they never stopped. They kept reminding him, gently, quietly, through signs and serendipities, she is not just someone. She is the one. And while he was running, you were rising. You stopped chasing. You stopped waiting for his clarity, his words, his return. Instead, you turned inward. You remembered who you are. You rekindled the fire that always lived in you. The woman who once loved from a place of longing now loves from a place of overflow. You are no longer seeking love. You are love. You healed parts of yourself he was never meant to heal. You met the pieces of your own soul that had been waiting for your return. And guess what? He feels that. Even without a word, even without a message, he knows something shifted in you. There's a magnetism in your light now. One that draws him in not out of need, but out of reverence. He senses your strength, your softness, your sacredness. And that, more than anything, is what's waking him up. Right now, as you read this, the angels are weaving unseen threads between your souls. He may not have spoken yet, but the energy is moving. The pull is real. He's seeing your name more. He's remembering small details. He's sensing you in moments when there's no reason to. And the strange part? It no longer scares him. Because something inside him is shifting. The fear that once pushed you away is now dissolving. Making room for a different kind of awareness. A quiet knowing that you were never a random moment. You were the divine's message in human form. He's starting to realize. He never lost you. He just hadn't caught up to the truth of what you are yet. But now, the veil is lifting. The angels want you to know, something is approaching. It may come as a message, a look, a moment. But whatever it is, you won't need to chase it. You won't need to prove anything. You won't need to overextend your heart. Because love like this doesn't require convincing. It requires alignment. And now, you are aligned. You've done the inner work. You've returned to your light. And that's exactly what calls him home. So breathe, beloved. Let the angels finish what they started. Let destiny do what it was designed to do. He's hearing the whisper now. He's feeling the call. And when the time is right, he'll say the words you've always known, you were sent for me. And I'm ready to receive you. Until then, say this with your whole heart, I was sent. I trust divine timing. And I am ready to be received. Let it be heard. Let it be felt. Let it be done. There's a quiet miracle unfolding in the invisible space between you and him. It's not loud. It doesn't come with fireworks or grand gestures, but it's there. Growing. Breathing. Becoming. The angels say he is walking through a sacred corridor now. A space where the past is falling away and something ancient is waking up. He doesn't even fully understand it, but it's undeniable. This pull toward you, it's not logic. It's not even memory. It's soul. It's as if his spirit has finally quieted enough to hear what's been whispered to him for so long. You are meant to go back to her. She is the home you forgot you were searching for. And with each passing day, he starts to see it. Not just with his eyes, but with something deeper. He's noticing how your name feels softer now, warmer, almost magnetic. He's catching himself wondering how you're doing at the most random times. He's remembering things he didn't even realize he remembered. And in the background, the angels are singing. Because they know, this is the beginning of return. Dear one, do not mistake his silence for absence. Do not confuse delay with denial. The spiritual world doesn't move on a clock. It moves on readiness. It moves on alignment. It moves on faith. And while he may not have shown up at your door with flowers and apologies, he is moving toward you. In ways neither of you fully sees yet. There are thoughts forming in him right now, curiosities awakening, truths surfacing that he can't run from anymore. Because what lives between you is not just emotion, it's divine remembrance. It's mission. It's healing. And slowly, his heart is catching up to the truth. This love was always meant to return. You, beloved, are not standing still. You're not waiting on the edge of your life for someone to arrive. No. You are already walking. Already rising. Already becoming the woman you were always meant to be. And the more you embody that version of yourself, the more the energy between you transforms. You're no longer the version of you who waited for love to define her. You've become the one who defines what love is, by the way you live, by the way you give, by the way you hold your own heart. You don't need his arrival to validate your light. But his soul is drawn to it just the same. Because when a woman becomes whole, the man who is supposed to meet her there cannot stay asleep. He might have closed his eyes briefly. But now, he's starting to see. There's something powerful in the unseen. In the way energy shifts before words are spoken. That's what's happening right now. The connection is evolving. The signal is getting stronger. The angels are realigning timelines. You may hear his name more often. You may feel his energy more intensely. You may have dreams that feel more like memories. These are not coincidences. They are divine reminders. He's closer than you think. Even if nothing on the outside indicates it. Because remember, when something is written in the stars, it doesn't need proof. It needs faith. And you, dear soul, were born for faith like this. You're not being asked to chase. You're being asked to trust. There is a moment approaching. A message. A reunion. But it will not require you to lose yourself to make it happen. You don't have to beg the universe for movement. It's already in motion. You don't have to wonder if you're still in his heart. You are. In a way that even he doesn't fully understand yet. You don't have to perform, fix, explain, or reach. You've done your part. You've loved. You've risen. You've returned to your center. Now, let the divine do its part. If your heart is aching, the angels know. If your spirit is weary, they are near. If you're doubting, they are reminding you now, you were sent. Not to chase love, but to be love. Not to convince someone, but to embody your light. And that light, it's working. It's flowing through him. It's softening his resistance. It's awakening his heart. He may still look away. But now, when he closes his eyes, he sees you. He may still hesitate. But when he quiets the noise, he hears you. And when the time is right, when soul meets courage, and heart meets divine alignment, he will return. Not out of guilt. Not out of fear. But because he knows. He knows you were sent for him. He knows your love held purpose. He knows what he tried to forget. And now, he's finally listening. So take a breath, beautiful soul. Let peace settle into the space where doubt used to live. Let trust rise where fear once ruled. Because what's meant for you is already on its way. What's written for you is already unfolding. And the angels are guiding every detail. Say this with me, and feel it in your bones. I was sent. I trust divine timing. I am ready to be received. Let that be your prayer. Let that be your power. Let that be your truth. Because heaven hears. And so does he. As this divine journey continues, there is something sacred the angels need you to understand. The waiting, the silence, the distance, it was never punishment. It was preparation. While your heart was longing, your soul was strengthening. While you were searching for answers, you were being refined. And while he seemed unaware of what you carried for him, the universe was preparing him to recognize the gift that you are. Because the truth is, not every soul is ready to receive a love like yours. A love that is honest, radiant, undemanding, yet deeply transformational. A love that doesn't scream for attention, but heals just by existing. And now, he's beginning to realize it. He's starting to feel the difference between what touches his ego and what touches his soul. You don't just make him feel seen. You make him feel known. And that, dear soul, is what sets you apart. This love was never about possession. It was always about awakening. You were never here to fix him. You were sent to remind him. To remind him of his depth. Of his capacity to feel. Of the softness that still lives underneath his armor. Your connection was never about teaching him how to love you. It was about showing him how to love himself again through the mirror of your presence. And while that may not have been easy, while your heart may have broken more times than you admit, the angels want you to know, not one tear was wasted. Not one prayer went unheard. Not one moment of love was lost. Everything you gave in truth is returning to you in grace. Let's talk about what's coming. Because it's close now. Closer than your doubts. Closer than your fears. Closer than your memories. He's reaching a breaking point, a breakthrough point, where the silence becomes unbearable, where the signs become too loud to ignore, where his soul won't let him hide anymore. And when that moment comes, it will not look like the fairy tales you were taught to expect. It will look like truth. Maybe it's a message that catches you off guard. Maybe it's a conversation you've waited lifetimes for. Maybe it's a moment when his eyes finally say everything his mouth couldn't. But whatever form it takes, you'll know, this is it. This is divine timing arriving. And you won't need to ask if you're ready. You are. The angels are placing you in alignment with miracles, with sacred restoration, with divine love that no longer needs to be earned, just embraced. You're not here to beg for love. You're here to receive it. And the love that's coming to meet you now has seen your soul. He knows. He knows now what he couldn't admit before. He sees how your presence lingers, how your absence speaks, how your light has never dimmed, even when he went dark. And deep within, he's beginning to realize the truth that the angels have whispered all along. She was sent. And I almost missed it. But the beautiful thing about divine timing? It makes sure you're found. So don't look back. Don't shrink to fit the love you used to chase. Don't dim your radiance waiting for someone to catch up. Stand tall in who you've become. Let your energy speak before your words ever need to. Let your presence be the answer. Because he's hearing it. Even now. Even from far away. He may still be quiet, but inside, his soul is thunder. And you are the reason for the storm. The angels want to end this message with one final whisper, one they've been waiting for you to hear deep in your bones. He wasn't ready before. But you were. And that's what carried the connection forward. Now, the roles are balancing. Now, he is being prepared to receive what he once resisted. And you? You're ready to be received without conditions, without shrinking, without waiting. You are not here to convince anyone. You are here to be met. You are the answered prayer. You are the message wrapped in human form. You are the moment he didn't realize he was waiting for. And now, dear soul, he's finally listening. Not just to you, but to everything you are. Everything you've ever been. Everything you've always known deep down, that you were sent. And that he was always meant to hear the call. Breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. And speak this prayer, not as a wish, but as a knowing, I was sent. I trust divine timing. I am ready to be received. Let the universe hear it. Let the angels echo it. Let him feel it. Because now, the whisper has become a voice. And soon, the voice becomes a return. There is something sacred that happens when a woman remembers her worth. Not because someone finally told her. Not because she was chosen. But because she chose herself. And that's where you are now. You are no longer hoping to be seen. You are standing in your light, fully aware of what you carry, not as proof for anyone else, but as peace for yourself. This is the energy that changes everything. This is the moment the angels have been guiding you toward, where your love no longer flows from longing, but from overflow. And it is in this energy, pure, powerful, radiant, that he feels you most. Because true love doesn't come to rescue a broken woman. It comes to rise beside a whole one. He's been feeling it more lately. The shift. The silence that doesn't feel like distance anymore, but like an invitation. The ache that no longer stings like loss, but pulses with recognition. He may not have the words yet, but the understanding is growing. With every heartbeat, he's starting to realize that what he ran from was exactly what his soul was seeking all along. He thought he needed time. He thought he needed clarity. He thought he needed freedom. But what he really needed was to be still enough to feel. And now, finally, he's beginning to feel you. Your energy never left his space. Even in silence. Even in detachment. Even in denial. It stayed. Not to haunt, but to heal. You have no idea how many times you entered his mind when he least expected. No idea how many times he felt your warmth when no one was around. No idea how your presence became his quiet comfort. Not because you pushed. Not because you begged. But because you surrendered. That's the power of divine love. It doesn't force. It flows. It doesn't demand. It invites. And now, that invitation is echoing through him louder than ever. There is something the angels want you to prepare for. Not with fear. Not with anxious anticipation. But with grace. Because something is aligning behind the scenes. A conversation. A moment of truth. A bridge being rebuilt not with effort, but with destiny. This connection, what it once was, is not what it will become. Because you are not who you once were. And neither is he. The reunion will be new. Because the love will emerge from truth, not trauma. From presence, not pain. So get ready. Not by looking at your phone or waiting for signs, but by anchoring in who you've become. Let your energy do the work now. You don't need to prove anything to him. Your existence has already spoken for you. This is the sacred moment when soul recognizes soul again. But this time, without confusion, without fear, without needing to save or be saved. This time, it's love meeting love. Whole meeting whole. Purpose meeting timing. So if it comes quietly, honor it. If it comes unexpectedly, trust it. If it comes slowly, be patient with it. But know, it is coming. Because when the angels whisper, and the soul listens, there's no turning back. He can't unknow what he now knows. He can't unfeel what's been awakened. And he can't unlove what was divinely written. Say this with your whole being, as a promise to yourself and a prayer to the heavens. I was sent with purpose. My love carries light. I no longer chase. I attract what aligns with my truth. And I am ready for love to meet me there. Let this be your closing affirmation. Because, beloved, you are never asking for too much. You are asking to be seen with the eyes of someone who finally remembers how to see. And now, he's listening. Truly listening. Not just with his ears, but with the part of him that was waiting to wake up all along. You were sent. And now, he knows.